Oh, I'm sorry. I caught him in the can.
What?
Caught him in the...
Are you shaving?
Sounds like there's water in the background. The toilet is flushing in the background.
I don't know what you're hearing, and I've had a lot of stunts in life, but the one thing I don't think I've ever done with you is made a pee while I was talking to you.
Oh, my God.
Well, this is a first for us, Peter. The first time we've...
No, it isn't a first because I just said I'm not doing that.
No, I understand that. I feel like the intro of such an awkward intro that I've given you is a first. I usually am pretty...
Yeah, well, very good. Thank you.
I'm usually pretty good with you here, so...
Yeah, you're good. You're good. You ought to do this for a living.
How about it'll be in the lower 70s in New York this weekend? It's going to be a beautiful weekend.
Yeah, well, it's about time because we've had a rough winter. So we're very happy, and everybody will be in a good mood, and that's important because I like people to be in a good mood. I don't like them being in a pissy mood.
Yeah, well, and I want to ask you, of all people, this Nixon, Cynthia Nixon, was out doing an interview yesterday, and she talked about upstate New York, and she said, well... Upstate, I don't consider the Hudson Valley upstate New York. I think upstate begins up there around Ithaca, and she probably even meant Utica. I've always kind of felt that once you get out of Yonkers, and certainly once you cross the Tappan Zee Bridge, you're upstate. You're heading upstate, right?
Yeah, I mean, look, for New Yorkers, first of all, let me back up for a second. 50% of the people who live in New York City right now come from someplace else.
Right.
So, I mean, if you start talking about I'm a New Yorker, meaning New York City, what are you talking about? And by the way, I don't understand what she's talking about. I don't understand how she's running for office. I don't understand what her qualifications are.
Good question.
And all this time I've been claiming about Cuomo. I better stop complaining about him if that's what's coming now.
Yeah.
But in any event, it's like you're a foreign country. You're like flyover country. But you have one friend in New York, you upstate people. That's me. See?
That is how we look at it, Peter. It is. How about this guy who was a 75-year-old Navy veteran, Richard Dixon? Used his walker to go to the Black Forest Bakery. He left the walker outside, and what happened?
And somebody took it, which is like just absolutely amazing. I mean, I can imagine, I guess, in theory, pulling certain crimes in life, but stealing somebody's walker? Well, anyway, what happened is the side story to the whole thing is that when the neighborhood in the area find out about it, everybody started bringing walkers to the bakery, and now they got wall-to-wall walkers. So it showed the nice side of people, that's for sure.
I used this
you
one
need
on
a walker,
Monday,
buddy?
This one on Tuesday. What was your take on the raid on the family lawyer, President Trump's lawyer? What was your take on that?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it sounds to me like they're doing a bunch of thuggy kind of stuff, and this has nothing to do whether you like Trump or you don't like Trump. There's no big problem with the FBI wanting to look at your books or look at your this if they can do it. They could have called the guy up. They could have told him to come in. They didn't have to go in the middle of the night. I have a couple of stories that I could relate to you of people that I know who had similar situations. They don't fool around. They come smashing in at the dawn. And, I think it was kind of rough and nasty, unnecessary.
It is rough because you're, however you sleep, you're there in your underwear or whatever. They come in the middle of the night. They'll come in when you least expect it. It is pretty scary.
I mean, and you can understand they got to be prepared because they don't know what the person's reaction is going to be. But in this particular case, I don't know. It could have said, hey, come on down and let's see all the books.
Hey, you see it all in New York City. For instance, people trying to smuggle things into the country, and we immediately think drugs, but how about birds, finches? Wasn't there a crazy story about these two guys?
Yeah, well, it seems that, in exotic pets, exotic birds, there's some money to be made. And Kennedy is really a hotbed of smuggling. I mean, it's just unbelievable because, of course, the planes are coming from all over the world. So they got these guys, and they had a bunch of finches with them. I had to go and look up and see what a finch was. I wasn't even sure. It's a little bird. But if it can be smuggled, it's going to be smuggled through Kennedy. It really is. It's an amazing, amazing place.
What I want to ask you also, there's a story out there about a city councilman in New York who is trying to ban smoking while people are walking. What I want your take on that, but also These same people that are trying to ban smoking are trying to legalize marijuana. What is going on?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a lot of money at stake with the marijuana thing, and that's the end run of it, is it just to try to get it going. I don't deny that it probably is of help to some people who are sick and everything, but it's a con job. I mean, that's exactly, because I hear what people are talking about. Nobody's sitting around talking about, oh, it's going to be wonderful because it's going to alleviate my pain. It's going to be, oh, man, am I going to make a lot of money on it? So this new idea now about having no smoking anyplace, it's a silly politician, but that's what we have.
Now, you can't outside, as it is, Yankee Stadium, Citi Field, any of those places you can outside, but imagine walking down the street. They're not going to allow you to smoke. It's crazy.
Yeah, well, even now, if you stand in front of a building, somebody will come over to you and say, could you mind putting out the cigarette? Yeah. We can't get past the door to get inside. We got rules and regulations for everything. And by the way, it's New York City's biggest source of income, giving somebody a ticket for something or other. So now we have a new category, if this comes to pass, that you're going to get a ticket, and the city gets richer and richer. We got money here. It's unbelievable.
And God forbid if somebody tries to sell counterfeit cigarettes. Just shows you how much money is made off cigarettes to begin with.
Let me tell you something. Classifying myself as a street person, it's not that I do bad things, but, boy, I know all the bad guys. And let me tell you something. One of the biggest industries in New York City is the sale of illegally, or at least the cigarettes that come from the South that don't have the stamps on it. People making a lot of money on that. Yeah. They love the fact that cigarettes cost so much.
It's the best tour in New York City. You could do it this weekend when temperatures are actually up into the 70s. He'll take you to places you did not even know existed in New York. It's the best tour. Go to Gabby.com for details. And, Peter, thanks so much. We'll talk.
The best places to make a pee.
Okay, we'll talk next week. Thanks. Peter Franklin in New York City.